the Plymouth Board of Education for October 8th, 2025 to order at 7 p.m. Please join me in pledging to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 2, adoption of the agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Is that who was the first? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Foot. Second, Mr. Showers. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Item number 3, approval of minutes. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of the Plymouth Board of Education of September 3rd, 2025, executive session interview of candidates for the possible appointment to the position of principal of Plymouth Center School.
So moved.
Ms. Hilton, second, Mr. Foot. Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, say it again.
One abstention.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions is Mr. Perugino. Okay, motion carries. And then a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of the Plymouth Board of Education of September 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Mr. Showers?
Second.
Mr. Foot? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Moved.
Mr. Perugino? Motion carries. And finally, we have to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of the Board of Education's Facilities Committee of September 10th, 2025. Do we need a motion for that? Okay, no, that's okay. Do I have a motion for that
So
meeting?
moved.
Second was Cindy. Who was the first? Mr. Showers again. Thank you. And Mr. Showers, Mrs. Andrea Florenciani, and Mr. Zabushka need to approve these minutes. So are the three of you in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried. Communications. Item number 4, we are up to communications. I regretfully have a communication that I am going to, again, regretfully accept, which is a letter of resignation from Michelle Lucian, Board of Education Secretary, as of Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. I will read that into record. October 1st, 2025. Dear Plymouth Town Clerk, please accept this letter as formal notice of my decision to resign from the Board of Education effective immediately. Over the past 12 years, the Board of Education has been an integral part of my life. However, at this time, my family requires my full attention. Sincerely, Michelle K. Lucian. So, do I have a motion? Oh, actually, we're just reading that into the record. I know we are all regretfully going to accept that resignation, but I do need a motion to not put in place a secretary of the Board of Education until after the election. Take care of that. That's good. Do I have a motion to do
So
that?
moved.
Mr. Showers?
Second.
Mr. Perugino? Any discussion on that? Yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Okay. Now we are up to our favorite part, our student representatives. Ladies?
We're going to start with some sports news first. Fall sports are going phenomenal this year. Teams have bonded well and are getting ready for their senior night. Boys soccer had their senior night last night under the lights, followed by girls soccer and cross country, and finally volleyball on the even more exciting. Taylor Freeman has broken the all-time girls Terryville High School scoring record, which was previously 96. He is now well over 100 and has a chance of breaking the Berkshire League record. Congratulations, Taylor.
Every year, students come to student council meetings to share about broken bathroom sinks, latches that don't allow stalls to fully close, and water fountains that simply don't work. Each year, we bring it to Mr. Holt, who brings it to maintenance, and nothing happens. Finally, this week, we're slowly seeing things get fixed. The water fountain that is at the entrance to the cafeteria has had a trash bag over it since last year, and it's now up and running. Happy to see it.
Mrs. McCareless, a teacher who is dedicated to saving the lives of injured animals, brought an issue to the student council late last school year. He noticed more and more birds hitting the windows here in the cafeteria, and some of which unfortunately, thanks to Mr. Falcone's approval, the student council will be moving forward with a solution. As a club, we've already decided that small window decals are our best option. In our next meeting, we will decide on what shape stickers we want to install. This initiative will be entirely funded by students.
Student council hosted our first ever club fair today. During our 30-minute advisory period, freshmen, sophomores, and new students came to the library where every club had a booth set up. Our clubs and their advisors did a great job of decorating their tables, bifolds, posters, brochures, and much more. Students had the opportunity to walk around and listen to everything our school has to offer. In the end, every club had at least a couple of new people sign up, and some filled entire sign-up pages with over 20 new members. The club fair will become an annual event to get more students involved and help club fair representatives better their presentation.
Our esports team is doing amazing this year as they kicked off their season with a 2-0 win against Bristol East. You might be wondering, what in the world is this? Well, it's a relatively new group that plays video games and has grown astronomically in popularity. Run by their captain, Marcus, the group meets after school to practice strategy, play just like any other sport. They're currently ranked as the #1 high school sports team in the state and have a chance of going to national, as well as receiving massive scholarships. Pretty impressive, right?
I am unable to attend next month's meeting because I'll be on our trip in Washington, D.C. I can't wait to share all about it when I get back. And if you're okay with it, in my absence, Aria Roth-Peralt, our student council secretary and treasurer, will report alongside.
Sounds great.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
I have some.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's a big rock that's been
Yes.
installed, and we actually painted it in white because we feel like someone needs to start the tradition
Mhm.
of painting that rock. So I was hoping maybe student council could talk to Mr. Holt about putting something on that, maybe sports teams, maybe drama club, maybe PHS with all the seniors signing it, something like that. So if you guys could take that on, I'd really appreciate it.
We would love to take it on. We were under the impression that Mrs. Apple,
Oh,
but we can bring
talk
it
to
up
her.
and clarify.
Talk to her then.
Perfect. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Talk to her first. I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
Does anyone else have anything for the student reps?
I'll make a deal with you.
Okay.
A deal.
If you could take care of the rock,
Uh-huh.
we'll take care of the decals and we'll pay for them.
Ooh.
Okay.
Fair?
That sounds
Just
great.
tell Mr. Tenth. Okay? So
Let
we'll
him know
take care.
Thank you.
You get me
It's all
the
right.
decals.
Deduction from his pay.
You get me the decals you want. We'll order those. We'll take care
Okay.
of that. You guys take care of the rock.
Perfect. Thank you so
Done
much.
deal.
Yes.
Just to let you know with decals, there's stuff that's on the internet. There's a film that they put over the window. Really, there's a film that has some design in it. The birds through the window.
I would
Check it
imagine
out.
they did their research.
Yeah.
But I would check that out.
If it's too expensive, we might go back and
He's already going back on his word.
Mr. Bovenier is now taken care of.
Yes. So we did actually do a
Well, you better
lot.
hurry up and do it because I might, only got 30 days left.
We did do a lot of research on it, and stickers that cover all the entire window cost significantly more, especially since we're trying to cover all of the windows. So small decal sheets are much more costly. Equally, they do the same.
We also talked about frosting the windows, but we decided that decals are better because seniors go outside for lunch. It's easier to monitor them if it's frosted and was using.
Thank you, though.
Anything else for our student reps? Well, ladies, as always, you are welcome to stay. And if you have more pressing things to do, you are welcome to go.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
Cannot wait to talk to Carol about
I
it.
know. Okay, that brings us to item number 6, public comment. If there is anyone in the audience who would like to join us, please come to the podium for public comment. It is a 3-ish minute limit, and you can write your name and address on the sheet that is provided. Anyone for public comment? Do you have any online public comment tonight? Okay, it will be when I forget to ask. That's
Yeah.
usually happens. All right, moving on. Superintendent's update.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to start by providing the board with an update on the generator here at the high school. As I shared, the generator here at the high school has not been working for quite some time. To clarify for the public, the school district has never been in charge of the generators in the town buildings at all. That has fallen under emergency management for years. In fact, we don't even have a generator vendor in our accounts payable system because we don't deal with the generator. Public Works has been assigned by the town the responsibility of maintaining and repairing the town generators in all of the buildings, from the firehouse to the police department to town hall to the ambulance building to our schools. It's important to note that the Public Works Director was made aware of the concerns of the generator and that it was not working, but he did not know the impact that the generator not working would have on our pumps and our sprinkler system in case there was a fire. So as soon as Tony Orsini found that out, who's in charge of emergency management, myself and the mayor found out, the issue was resolved within 24 hours. And we now have a temporary fix in place until the parts come in for the generator that we have. So it is being addressed and taken care of by Public Works. Okay, so right now we are in good shape. Speaking of Tony Orsini, again, in charge of emergency management, Tony and I have scheduled a school district safety and security meeting next Thursday evening. Greg Showers is going to be joining us and representing the board as he has done in the past. We'll also have representatives from the police department, fire department, EMS, public works, emergency management, all of our building administration will be there, and our building maintenance department will be there as well. Some of the topics, not all of them, there's more on the agenda, but some of the topics we're going to cover are safety drills, building walkthroughs, and emergency evacuation. This is not a public meeting, though, based on the discussions that we're going to be having and the nature of those conversations. So I just wanted to make the board aware that we are having that safety meeting next Thursday. We have also been invited to the town capital improvement meeting on October 23rd at 5:30. I know that we were talking and some of you planned on going to the last one. Mr. Perugino did go to the last, and he got some details for us with regard to the capital improvement meeting and what the committee needs from us. The things they asked for is they wanted the current sinking fund or non-lapsing fund balance that we have, and Matt probably knows it off the top of his head. Projects and items that have been purchased with the sinking fund since we started utilizing it, the district's revised 5-year capital improvement plan, and completed forms for all of the capital improvement requests that we have. To this date, we still have not received the forms that we need to fill out. We have made numerous requests. This afternoon, Matt and I emailed the mayor and Trish over at Town Hall requesting those forms again. So hopefully we can get those forms to get them filled out for what we need. But Beth, Matt, and Pat Perugino are going to be attending that meeting on behalf of the school district. And that is the 23rd of October. With this being the last meeting of this board, I'd like to take a moment to thank a number of people. First, I'd like to thank Michelle Lucian. She's been a board member for 10 years now. I know it said 12, but it's actually 10 years. That looks back at the archive. I want to thank Michelle for her service. I want to thank Cindy for 7 years of service on the board. Lou for his 4 years of service on the board. And Jerry and Mr. Foote, I have an uncomfortable conversation to have with you both, but one of you most likely won't be sitting here next month based on how the elections work. But I want to thank Mr. Foote for 8 years of service that you've provided the board. And Jerry, over the past year, but I believe you have almost like 15 or 16 years as a board member in total. No, I think it's more than that. I've been balding over years of being a board member when I was a high school principal here. So, but either way, on behalf of the entire school community, I want to thank you for time, effort, and your commitment to our teachers, to our students, and to our schools. You give up a lot of your time. You deal with a lot of headaches inside and outside of our schools, whether you're at the supermarket, walking the town, walking your dog, whatever it might be. We thank you. So thank you. And best of luck. Finally, I'd like to introduce our new Plymouth Center school principal, Stacy Kalo. Ms. Kalo currently serves as the principal of Lee H. Kellogg School in Region 1. She has been the principal of that paid school for, I believe, 3.5 years. Is that right? Or 4th year, yes. In that time, she has strengthened the academic support for the students in that school. She's fostered a safe and welcoming climate for that school community and built a strong partnership between the schools and the families that it serves. Ms. Kalo is a highly respected leader in the state of Connecticut, and I believe her leadership and experience are the perfect fit for Plymouth Center School. Officially, she'll begin at Plymouth Center School on November 3rd, but we have worked out the date of October 21st, where she's going to come in and spend the day at Plymouth Center, kind of transitioning in with the students and the faculty there. And then we're going to do a meet and greet for families and students later on in that afternoon. More details on that. Stacy is here this evening, and she wanted to share some great words about myself.
Don't you dare.
I guess it's gonna be pretty short.
Oh, that was good.
That was good, Jen.
Well, I just wanted to say how honored and excited I am to be the next principal of Plymouth Center School. And I wanted to thank the Board of Education and Superintendent Falcone for your confidence in me and choosing me. And it's so exciting. I'm looking forward to really getting in there and working to create a positive learning culture for everybody, not just the students, but for faculty and for families and all of the stakeholders. And most importantly, I can't wait to meet the kids. So that is really all I wanted to tell you is I can't wait to get started, and thank you again.
Thank you.
If it's all right with the board, I'd like to request a 5-minute recess for a photo opportunity and to welcome Ms. Kalo and her family to.
We have a motion for that. Ms. Hilton, second.
Cindy.
Cindy, sorry. Didn't say it out loud, I said it in my head. At 7:18 p.m., we meet our new principal. Well, we first met her already. All right, well, that's it. Oh, but I didn't do any discussion, sorry.
Any discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Okay, now we're official. Motion carries. All right, I'd like to call our meeting back to order, regular session at 7:30 p.m. We are on to unfinished business, policy revisions, a second read, and possible approval. Sorry. I'm looking for an motion to entertain. I would. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Let me start again. I'm having a hard time today. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the revisions to policy P6004, instruction homework. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Mr. Showers? Second?
Second.
Cindy? Okay. Any discussion? Yeah, that's fine. That's why you.
I just I understand we want to get kids. That's a great goal. I'm just wondering for the students that doesn't happen, is there going to be opportunities provided for them to do the reading at some point during their school day so it doesn't negative? Like, what I'm thinking of is for like wit and wisdom, the kids get assigned chapters. So like that's part of what this is, but
Yes.
you know that a lot of kids have a lot of outside extracurriculars and may not get to that reading. So are we still going to provide opportunities so those kids are seeing important information?
I think there is going to be an expectation that they're reading at night because of the Wit and Wisdom program. But I think the teachers are going to have to allow for the students that might not have read, just like in any situation, have to find a way to make sure they still get that content. So I don't know when it would be, to answer your question, but I'm assuming that they would do that just like any other homework.
Anyone else? Okay. One. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, item B. We are going to revisit our discussion on the Plymouth Board of Education subcommittees. So as you know, in the past, most of you have sat on subcommittees pretty regularly. In the last few years or so, I would say that's kind of gone away a bit. It used to be a pretty regular thing. Greg will remember, Jerry, almost everybody here remembers. Lou, you probably don't remember, and Kelly, you probably don't remember. But the rest of us had sat in on regular scheduled subcommittees. So right now, we're just going to have a discussion on what we feel about subcommittees. We're not going to sign up for subcommittees because obviously some of us are going to be here for the next meeting, and some of us are not. But we want to set it up to get that ball rolling as soon as the election is over. We can kind of assign people to subcommittees and have that going. So who would like to start the discussion? Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I spent a little bit of time digging into the archives of board meetings, and it looks for many years like the regular committees were curriculum or student achievement. That was different names, a facilities committee, finance, finance and sometimes finance/operations, negotiations, personnel, policy, safety and transportation. And then I wanted to specifically ask you, Karen, there was something called Ed Connection. I don't know if that replaced Ed Advance or what
That's
that
exactly
even.
what it was.
That's the old.
Okay,
That's the
because
old
that
idea.
like disappeared, and I'm like, I wonder if they just changed.
Yeah,
the
that was
name
just
of
They
that.
changed the name of them.
So I don't know, like, I mean, those seem like all pretty committees, and it looks like it like said around like 2019, they started to not meet regularly.
Yep.
So,
And then I think
and then COVID hit,
COVID
and so
hit, and we weren't going to meet any more than we needed to, clearly, and it just sort of fizzled out. I would say we probably would want to keep it to no more than 4 or 5 committees. I don't think that having 8 or 9 committees is going to be beneficial to anyone because, you know, then we're all pretty much going to have to be on at least 3 committees, and that will get kind of cumbersome. So we probably should choose. You know, the committees can have dual purposes too.
well, that's what I was thinking.
We can kind of combine some of our committees to see what we would like. So I think policy obviously is going to be an important one, and that doesn't have to meet unless we've got something to go over.
You have to meet every year though, the policy, because of the change in legislature. So every year
Absolutely.
we have to.
But I mean, you wouldn't necessarily have to meet
Oh,
every
no,
month.
that's something
or,
comes up, right?
Right.
But you do have to meet at least once a year.
Right. So I think policy is probably an important one.
Finance and the building?
Finance
Well,
and
finance
facilities,
or
How you gonna
finance
do
and
that?
operations.
and that would cover facilities. pretty much.
Facilities,
Yeah.
yeah, like,
How you gonna do that?
oh, yeah, that's a good point, because doesn't the facilities speak mostly during the day when they,
Well, they never had a facilities committee until Karen became chairman. Okay,
it looks like
Well,
it started
that
in
was years ago.
2012.
that was years ago. When Karen became chairman, I asked about facilities. I was on facilities before. And we did form that committee. And it ends up that the way it works now is Matt goes towards the school with the facilities committee in the morning. That's the way it has been. I mean, I go with him. We meet with the principal, we meet with building custodian, and then we meet with Jim Meza. We go through the building and just, looking at what's there, what any problems or anything else. I don't see how the finance is gonna get into that.
I'm not sure that facilities should, the finance and operations, that's it.
Well, when we're normally walking, there's issue.
Yeah.
There's issue with the
Right.
leak, there's an issue here, which then turns into finance. Now you have to finance those issues. So
I
you're just
feel
looking
like
at the
too,
building.
I feel like too, if Matt is in charge of it, it can kind of go together because, plus we don't want to have Matt out at 3 separate, subcommittee meetings. If it's, not during his workday. You know what I'm saying?
I just
What
have
do you
to, I
think?
just want to clarify. Matt's not in charge of it.
Okay, well, I guess you're
So
right.
Pat's
You're
in
right.
charge of it.
You're right.
And
Sorry.
So Matt's a member of that committee, so I just want to clarify.
I
The
meant
board-
more,
Yeah,
No,
the
but I
board's
think it's
in charge.
important, the board on all of these committees.
yes, you're right. I misspoke.
No, I just want to make sure,
You're right.
and I know that you misspoke, it's okay. But I want, there has to be an understanding that with committees, they're board committees, and the board does the work on those committees, and we're there to support the work that has to be done. But the work is done by the board. So if this is the direction we're gonna go, I think there needs to be that understanding. Right now, a lot of the work on these committees is being done by us, but it has to be flipped onto the actual board.
Absolutely.
They're their committees.
Well, that was my requested, because I feel like we put a lot on you, and you are supposed to be running the schools, and we're kind of not supporting you as a board should be. We should be working as a team and not just expecting you to do this work because we're not. So I understand it is a big ask, and I'm not in any way suggesting that we go back to having his meeting again, but I think that these committees need to meet, like, we didn't have any committee meetings. And I think that certain committees, like I think that our curriculum or achievement committee could be meeting monthly. You don't need to necessarily always have Brian there. From what other board members and other communities have shared with me is that they invite different people and talk on different topics. So it's not like we're dragging Brian into all of our meetings. They're our meetings. We invite him in when we need information. He could even share information digitally or by paper that we can discuss and come back with questions. He doesn't physically have to be running all of this stuff that we should do. Not just, there haven't been these committees since I've been on the board, so I was hoping to bring this up for some of our people leave that have some experience on how it used to work and what it should look like, where you guys take all of that knowledge away with.
The idea of the subcommittee was to meet prior to the board meeting. And so you wouldn't be sitting here until 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
And discussing all this stuff. It'd be discussed at the subcommittee meeting.
Yeah.
That's how it was before.
Right.
Now, if you want to change it, that's fine. If you want to sit here at 10, 11 o'clock at night, that's fine too. But I'm just saying, that was the idea of the
Right.
subcommittee. So, it depends how you want to do it. And yes, there should be, the board member should be in charge of finance, and he's in charge of finance. That's it. I was in charge of facilities. You had curriculum, if I'm not mistaken, or policy, or Lou had policy, somebody had policy. And that, you have that meeting, you bring that You bring what you bring to the board. That's how it used to work.
And that way
Bring
too,
this to the
the
board.
people on that committee can focus on their areas and we don't all have to know everything about everything. That's really overwhelming when we all have to be discussing everything as a whole board. All
Well,
takes away that expertise.
that's the reason for subcommittee. That is the reason. Because it's for goddamn sure, I'm not gonna be on a curriculum committee when I know nothing about it. You teachers forgot more than I'll ever know. So that's where you folks should be. Cindy's with finance, fine, that's great. You know, I like brick and mortar, that's me. Forget it after that. You know, you want to put me on something else, that's fine, but don't put me on curriculum, because I have no idea what's going on there. You know, and I'm not gonna stick my nose in there. You guys know what's going on there, I'm not gonna interfere with it, but, you know, don't
I
interfere
feel the
with me.
same way about the brick and mortar
Huh?
stuff.
Just leave me my brick and mortar, I'm happy, you know? But that was the idea of the subcommittees years ago, Kelly.
Well, that's why I'm asking if we can go back to reinstate some of these committees so we can do more high quality work, do more research, make sure that I have like lists of suggestions for everything. I won't get into that, but maybe we can do like a workshop when the new people come on, kind of come up with a framework tonight of what we think is important or we should know about committees before they choose that with them or the local plan. I don't know.
I will be honest, I've probably been on this board the longest.
Yeah.
We've
Well,
never had subcommittee meetings without a administrator there. So I'm not saying we can't. I'm just saying we don't have knowledge of that. You're not missing anything. We've never done that. So that would be a new thing for us.
Okay, well,
which I'm
sometimes
perfectly
we
fine
have to
with.
Try new things.
I'll just say how the finance used to be. It used to be before the 7 o'clock meeting, and it was, like, I'll use the sidewalk, for instance. You got 3 quotes from 3 contractors, you know, one's gonna be 100,000 more than the other one. And so Matt would have already gone through the work and the process of getting quotes and he'll explain, this guy's more because of this material, this company, this. He would put them out and explain pros and the cons and stuff like that. We would go over basically what he writes up every month, what negative accounts are, what some foreseen expenses are, like just pretty much breaking down the budget. And then, you know, anything that, you know, might be a potential, say the cafeteria wants to start making, you know, and they need to buy, like, it would just be kind of more like, just really what the numbers are and contracts that you need to go over, and then it will lead into the budget.
And one of my questions was like, was there ever a master list of like, we kind of have a unique experience. A lot of other districts, when I asked about like, say our lawn maintenance contract, like in other communities, that's not something the school district pays for. Like the town typically pays for that, at least of who I've spoken to. So I think like we should have a list of when contracts are expiring, so we have time to really read through the contracts and make sure that we're putting out bid and having enough time to do that and knowing 6 months in it. You know what I mean? Like, was that ever a thing where you had a list of like, this is when the teachers, when the landscaping, this is when the,
Normally Brian.
you know, but again, that would be like, should we as a board be keeping that list? So
You want to negotiate the contract. Well, is that what you're saying?
no, just knowing when all of our contracts are up. Like now we have our custodial service. Like we need to know what those contracts are, when they're up, and people on that committee very knowledgeable about them when it comes time to renew or to put out to bid.
So
Am I not
Brian,
explaining
I,
it? Like,
what I've heard is like, mostly like our job is Brian's really the only one that. Goal. And I did this.
Well, my wife controls me too, I think.
Big marionette strings.
And then like he's in charge of telling everybody else what to do. So I don't know how much he's in charge of like policies are gonna come from the lawyers and everything. Sounds to us.
talking about contract.
Yeah, I think like because Matt would have to do the legwork
Right.
and bring it up. Like,
Okay.
we wouldn't go out there and put out information looking like Matt.
In a finance meeting, or facilities meeting, a finance meeting, whatever it is, for example, I brought to the entire board that this is my, I've done this work and this is my recommendation, right? In a committee setting, I would still do that same thing, but it would be 3 or 4 people. Then those folks would then bring it to the full board with the assumption that the whole board is confident enough in on the committee that that decision is what now acceptable way to move forward.
Right, they're bringing us something that's already been vetted.
Yeah,
and-
Correct.
and when we look at,
And we've been trying to do it individually to the whole board, which is why, like, my report is always right. You all get exactly the same information. Where in a committee setting, it may be only the committee that gets the details, and then the rest of the board gets overview and vote on that.
Mhm.
I come from a community that does have committees. I was 8 years on a board. We only had 3. We had finance and operations, and like facilities fell in there, transportation fell in there, finance fell in there, maintenance fell in there. All that fell into that silo. And then there was a student achievement. That was curriculum and all of the test scores and and textbooks. All of that fell there. And then the last one was communication. And the communication was, how does the board want to communicate the work that they're doing outside of, so the public knows what it is that's being done? How do they communicate where new tech, what the new curriculum is, or how does the board want to communicate that to the public? And then we had talked about policy. We didn't have a policy. That was ad hoc. When policies came out, the board chair said, okay, we have to go for policies. Let's put that policy, but beyond that, they only meet for that specific reason. And then they don't meet again until it's revision policy. It was efficient, but it puts a lot of work because you're only working in silos. Folks do it, but it worked. The key is you can't have all the meetings at you can't have them at 5 o'clock on the day of the meeting because other board members still want to go to, even though they're not participants in the committee, they still sometimes want to be there.
Well,
and that's
from
kind of the
what
key.
I've talked to other board members, like they meet beside the day
Besides
of
the
the
day
board
of.
meeting.
Correct.
And for some of these meetings, like for example, student achievement, which my opinion should be meeting monthly. I mean, we can't do that every month because other people need to meet too. So like there
Correct.
needs to be
Yeah, so
like
it's-
some a little more time, and I hate to ask for it, like you all know, like I spent my child's birthday here at a board meeting. So like I understand the ask it is to give more, but if we want to grow and we want to change and do better, like we got to put the work in and we got to try new things. Because we can't keep doing the same thing and thinking like everything's going to get better. It won't. And I do have a whole page on a communications committee because I think one of the things, just as you said, from like walking around in town, like that's what I hear. And a lot of times I hear things and I'm like, that's not even close to reality, or like that's not something the board can do. And we, I feel, don't do a great enough job as a board of saying like, here's accurate information. This is what is really happening, or like these are new things that we're trying, or like getting people involved, or working with other community organizations for a small town. You know, in bigger cities, they have like 8 employees who do like a lot of this outreach to like the food pantries or the homeless shelters. We don't
Right.
have that here. We have just have the guy over there who's like, I think we asked a lot of him, and we should, as a board, support him more by taking on some of this. That's just my opinion. People about it. But I mean, I have a ton of ideas, and I don't feel like we have a forum to discuss them because just here for this one meeting or maybe one curriculum meeting, like there are several months this year that there are no committee meetings scheduled for the board. I haven't been doing this as long as other
True.
people, so I don't know how other people feel. And if I'm talking out and Cindy's like, that was my last meeting, I can see it on her.
No, but Kelly, to your point though, that chart that you have there that I sent you guys
Mhm.
that have those meetings I'm putting in there, they really shouldn't be for me to put in there. Like,
That's what I'm trying to say. We put a lot on you
who's
that
in
we should
charge
be
of,
doing.
so again, we'll use facilities as an example. You know, Mr. Perugino has those meetings with Matt scheduled for those mornings, and they're pretty religious, where every week they're walking a different building. That's all set up. But, you know, I'll just say you, like for you, for policy, that's not a committee that, like as Matt said, doesn't have to meet, because the policies only come through basically
Yeah, I
two
put on
times.
the notes
two times a
when they
year.
pass new laws and we have to change
It's
stuff.
usually 2 times a year is when we're ready to renew policy. But even then, if you wanted the model policy, you know, password to go on as board members as part of that committee, I would give it to you. You would see exactly what I see before I revise it and bring it to you. That this is the legislation, this is what we're changing, and that's what goes forward. But for like Cindy, pick on you because you're not going to be my boss after a couple days anyway. But finance and operations, Cindy's the one that has to call those meetings or schedule those meetings. It shouldn't be Matt or me. We put them on there just so we're touching base at times, but really, she's the chair of that committee that has to say, okay, I want to meet, and she'll call Matt and they'll have conversations about, Matt, this is, you know, where are we? I want to know about this. Let's learn more about this. Could you share about this? Those are the kind of things that happen with committees. It really starts with the board and not the administration. So to your point, Kelly, I can't say I disagree with you with regard to, we have a curriculum and achievement here right now, but meeting more often, whether it be monthly or not. And, you know, that was Michelle who was in charge of that committee, but you guys are the ones that have to dictate this, tell us and direct us on what you want. These are your committees, and we'll be there to support it.
And once we have the committees set up, those people on the committee can decide what a good time is for them to meet. I mean, what you do works out for 10 in the morning on Fridays or whatever day it is that you.
8.
Oh, sorry.
2 o'clock.
Right. But that works out for you. If there's 2 people on the committee that doesn't work for, that might mean you have to do it a different time.
Oh, no
So,
problem.
So
No problem.
that just seems like that's what would have to happen, is once we know who will be on those committees.
But the original committee that we had was with Greg and Cindy and Lou, and well, 2 of us, 3 of us are retired.
Yeah.
You're partial worker, right, or whatever you call it.
She's flexible.
I mean, flexible. I'll
Yeah, I
use
get
that.
that.
So, yeah, be flexible. But, I mean, if it has to be in the evening or something, I don't know, I have to. I just don't, you know, I don't want to go over Matt's head, okay? Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because I go down there and we go through there, we take a look at things, and well, what do you think, man? Well, you know, this has got to be done. And we take a look, you know, this, we know it's got to be done. So how much is it going to cost? Guess what? He figures it out. Or him and Jim figure it out. You say, Pat, it's going to cost $20,000 to fix them stairs over here.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the budget, we're going to figure out what we're going to do with it. Or you're going to do it out of our capital or our machine or where the hell it is.
Yeah.
It's sinking fund. You know, it's things like that. I mean, I don't know.
So
Depends who comes back on the board. You know, and I don't want to keep these guys here till 6 o'clock at night walking around the schools either.
Mhm.
You know, and that's, to be honest with you, Karen, when we were on the board before, one of the reasons that they did put me on facilities is because I don't work.
Mhm.
You know, I'm retired. I've been retired 30 years.
Yeah.
So they said, you know, we can just call him. Call him if there's a problem. And I'd go down.
Yep.
If there's a water leak down at Eli Terry, they call me over down here. I'm not going to stop it, but I'm going to find out what's going on. You know, but that's how it is. So that's the reason that, you know, like I said, bricks and mortar. I'm in. I'm in.
So we should narrow it down then. I think we can keep policy as ad hoc. We can do that because, as we know, it's not a regularly meeting committee. So how many committees do we think we want to have then? Because you have to keep in mind, if we're going to be meeting more often and it's going to be more in depth and we're going to be doing more, you don't also want people to have to be on 3 different committees. So,
I think a lot of these, what I previous, like, your negotiations, those are ad hoc.
yeah,
If you don't have to negotiate a contract, you don't really need. So like,
yeah,
unless I'm
negotiations and
mistaken,
policy. No, you're right.
unless I'm mistaken about
Those are both
understanding how
ad hoc.
those were run, like those
Yep.
would be more like as needed.
Mhm.
And of course, combining, like it was separate, the facilities and whatever, and finance, but like, I don't see why you couldn't combine or have finance, like, you know, have separate. meetings for
So
each
do
of
we
those
think
things.
what Matt mentioned, which was finance and operations,
Yeah,
1, student achievement, 2,
Yeah.
and communication, 3. Do we think that every topic that we could discuss could be in those 3 places?
Well-
And it's
Well,
not
where
like
would you put negotiations?
that's
That would
ad
be
hoc.
Yeah.
Ad hoc.
Ad
Oh, ad hoc.
Just
Okay,
like
fine.
policy. Policy would be ad hoc as
Right.
well.
Safety and security.
Yeah,
but it's that, and just understanding from what Brian said, because that's not open to the public, that would be more like that one person would be like a liaison. Right.
And I like what I used to do.
you're
when
just
I was
going to do
on
it for the next 2 years
Anybody
anyway.
can come and talk to me and I would let them, on the board, I would let you know what happened to me.
Right,
Not
The
anybody.
public, I wouldn't let them know, but I wouldn't do it in public.
Yeah.
I'd say after the meeting, come
Right.
and talk to me, I'll let you know what's going on.
right, but that's more like a liaison than a committee,
Right.
because it's just one person.
And you're just going to keep doing that. So you're it.
And for whoever takes over for finance, paper that we get from Matt is because I told Matt, I look at negative line, you're gonna have a negative line on the budget. He writes down, so that is what I would have asked at a meeting anyway, so he has it written down, but maybe if you know that you need stairs to get done and you want me to look at back down whoever's in charge, and maybe we should have a meeting because we have this issue, or
I don't know that. When we do the budget, we meet so often, so like,
And that's all of us.
yeah, that's our.
So
So-
why don't we try with these 3 committees? And if we find we need others, there's no law saying we can't add another one.
Right.
There's no reason we can't take something away. It's we can do whatever we want. We vote on it.
And
But-
there's a reason we picked 3,
Yeah, because there's 9
because
people.
there's 9 people.
3, 3, and 3. I know.
That's exactly it.
I
And
was
so,
thinking that.
You know, you said,
Yeah.
Safety, well, that flew up the finance and operations.
And just like we all also have schools that completely
Completely
Um,
separate.
Yeah.
And so I know next time we meet, it's going to be a different group sitting here. But maybe,
they're all here, so maybe they can have some.
but if Matt, if we're looking at the model that Berlin used at their board when he was on, I don't know if we still use it, I'm assuming they do. And under each of those topics covered, these things, maybe Matt could have those for the next meeting and we could put those in the board packet so the new board can see what
It entails.
the committees entail and then see what they want to be a part of.
Yep.
Off of that. Again, there's going to be ad hoc committees or liaisons or whatever, but the 3 main ones, you could have that listed and we could put that in the packet so our new board members will have that. Is that kind of what you're looking for, Cal?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
And then once those committees are formed, you can decide when you're going to meet, who you're going to invite, who you're going to, what topic you want to do.
Some might be monthly.
Yep.
And some
And
might
have an
be
agenda
every
ahead of
other
time.
month. And one might be at 5:30 at night. We just have to, obviously put those out. For the
Yeah.
public.
Does anybody have any other things they want to talk about, or are you comfortable with the way that we're doing this?
Now, your subcommittees are open to the public, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the safety one, yeah.
Pardon me?
Just the safety one wouldn't be, but, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, true.
And
I
probably
agree.
negotiations.
Well, negotiations as well.
negotiations.
You're right. Negotiations.
We can start
Yeah.
down and take a look, Yeah, I hear what you're saying, yeah.
But is everybody good with that idea of having those 3 committees? And then, when our new board is here, we can kind of pick and choose which ones we want to be on, and then those committees can make their own schedule.
I would try it, see what happens.
Yeah, like I
Doesn't
said,
work,
we could try it.
then-
It's not like we have, you know, we're not bound by it.
Yeah.
So,
Doesn't
That's
cost us to try it, does it?
doesn't,
Yeah.
You're not getting paid
We
either.
won't charge you overtime.
no,
No, you
No,
guys get the overtime.
no double time for weekends either. All right, are we good? We can move on from that then for now. And discussion on the revision and adoption of the 5-year strategic plan. Anyone have any discussion on that? Yeah, go for it.
I don't have a ton, and I think before, we adopt, maybe we should give our new, because we're having so many new people, we have some input on there. I just,
I think,
Trying to think
I
of-
guess, Kelly, I think it's more of what kind of format do we want to utilize or how do we want to go about revising it? Because everyone, I think when the new board comes on, I'm going to probably have to revisit this with them and possibly explain some things to them that are in there and why they're in there and why they're not based on our
could
history.
I,
But it's a matter of like, how are we going to do it?
and well, could I propose while we're on, is that we do like maybe an ad hoc for this, for like, so we can kind of dig in and maybe like look at how some other districts have put their EIPs or strategic improvement plans together. And I think like some of the ones that I've seen, like the presentations are more friendly to people who are not as familiar with the educational lingo that some of us are in different places with what all those letters mean. But maybe we can do that in a smaller group so we're not taking the whole board's time to go over. I don't know.
Yeah, we can certainly do that. Anything you want to bring up now or?
No, I mean, just like I had some things like working on like the MTSS, like revisions and just looking, I think if we get those committees up and running a little more frequently, address some of that work.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
To what people are saying, so we're not like with that.
Yeah. Anyone else, anything that you want to add or? Okay. Moving on to item number 9, new business, informational item only, Mr. Falcone.
It's actually Ms. Muller.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, sorry.
All right, you nominated me, so okay, so Brian and I just wanted to follow up with the climate improvement plans that building administrators created with their teams. As you know, we reviewed the climate survey with you guys, and I think that was good.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to follow up and give you an idea of what the plans have shown and what goals they have.
First part of the packet that I'm handing you has the presentation that you, I don't know if you'll be able to read it off of there. And then the second part are the actual individual school plans.
So each building met as a school climate team, and you'll see on each slide those committee members listed for each school. The climate plans were reviewed by the teams and then revised as necessary. So basically the administrators came up with like a draft of a plan and then used the committee to vet the plan and revise it as necessary. Each building has 3 focus areas of improvement: students, parents, and faculty and staff. Except for Plymouth Center, they only have faculty and staff and parents because the students were. The goal for each focus area is to achieve 70% or higher of the often or always responses when we ask questions again on the survey. So for Plymouth Center, their focus areas of improvement were, all of them were pulled from the school climate survey data. So all of those statistics are pulled from the school climate data. And their focuses of improvement are going to be under professional development and parent involvement.
So as you'll see, the goals are tied to that. So the faculty and staff goal is to have a 70% of the faculty and staff respond often or always prompt that staff professional development opportunities are relevant and valuable. The only exception to the school is for the parents at Plymouth Center. We did put it at 80%. So by June 2026, 80% of parents respond often or always to the prompt that the school encourages parental involvement. But most of 70%. For Fisher School, they have 3 focus areas because students were surveyed at Fisher. So the basic subject of them are being nice to each other. The students are either about challenging behavior or professional development. So for the students, it will that the prompt of my classmates nice to each other will be 70% more often or always. Faculty and staff will be staff professional development relevant and valuable, and parents will say they're satisfied with the school. For Eli Terry, similar professional development and then challenging behavior in terms of the students, them being nice to each other. And for parents, it was more about the discipline practices and they feel that they're fair. For the teachers, it's saying that they'll have adequate input on the professional development. Most of the things for the teachers or the faculty and staff were around. Lastly, for Terryville High School, the students' focus is on the atmosphere of it being welcoming, the faculty, again, professional development, and the parents was more about parental involvement. So, again, with the goal of getting 70% of the students to respond, or parents or faculty respond often or always to prompts of for students. I would describe the atmosphere as welcoming, staff professional development, valuable, and so we will do the whole school climate survey again later this year. It'll be distributed and completed again in the spring, so we can compare and hopefully see where we've met our goals and where we have room to improve. And then we'll continue to identify those areas of focus.
And the rest of the packet is really individual schools' actual climate plans with the action plan that they have to accomplish what they need to accomplish. And as you heard Beth say, that, you know, I sometimes struggle with surveys because it's a great time for people to share how they feel, and it's usually, you know, it's when you go on that vacation and you had a great time, you're not filling out the survey. But if you went on that vacation and you had a terrible time because, you know, Jerry was a terrible waiter, you're going to beat Jerry up in that survey. And so sometimes surveys are a little wonky. But there's one through line in here for the staff that I thought was very concerning. It really deals with professional development. And now that that responsibility now falls on myself, we're changing how EDAC, which is our professional development committee for the district, is going to be run. We're going to give the teachers different opportunities for their own professional growth and learning. And I'm working with the administrative team tomorrow in a meeting, kind of go over all of those details so that the teachers have more say in what they're actually learning and taking advantage of their time and the time they have to help themselves grow as individuals and look at what they actually need. So there will be some directed PD, but there's going to be more self-directed PD as time goes on. So we're kind of shifting gears because the direction we've been going, as evidenced by the data, we're, as Kelly said, I think going down the same path, we're going to get the same results. We're making some significant changes.
I just have a quick question. I say things like this generally speaking a lot of times, but too, I'm hoping that, like, especially at the middle school and the high school level, that we're not tapping the same students that we tap for everything. and that maybe we're digging a little deeper and trying to get into some different groups of kids that are not always represented in some of these things that we put together, committees, such as student council and things like that. I think it's really important that we look for students who might be the ones who are feeling like they aren't being treated nicely.
Yeah.
Because those are generally not the ones that we
Volunteer.
right. So I'm just hoping that they're, I mean, obviously they know what they're doing, but that's just my thing. My thing has always been like, we can't just keep asking the same, top 10% what their opinion is all the time, because they're going to have a much different outlook on school than kids who are struggling in different areas.
I think that's something we consider putting in, like, for the, also to have all stakeholders involved.
Yep.
The parents, the students, the teachers, and each other. Like, we need everybody on board in our small town. We need to work together to make things. We can't do it separate individual groups. So we can put that on the
Mm-hmm. All right, that's just my little 2 cents. If I gotta do this, right? All right, are we all set with that section? Okay. We are on to item number 10, business managers report and personnel report. Mr. Tenza.
Thank you. So, as I reported in my written report, is budget expenditure for this year are plugging right along as we expect them to be. I'm happy to report that 24-25 is almost closed. We only had about $600-700 remaining of encumbrance that we needed to close out, and I know that number now is probably 1,000 range. So we're really waiting on one invoice from a vendor that was doing some of our security work here. And once that invoice is in, I'm going to be able to come and report that we're closed, which is earlier than pretty much any year that I've been. Food service, you can see from the P&L that I provided that for August and September we did lose money. That's to be expected. All the startup costs, everything. What you don't realize unless you look at last year's report is we lost half as much as we lost last year. So food service is doing a good job. Jess Peterson and her staff are really working hard. They did a really good event today with in conjunction with the University of Connecticut and local farmers here. We had food that was produced locally here, farmed from Morris, Connecticut, about 11 miles from here, brought in vegetables. The staff made meals with them, and the kids all got to try it, and they got a sticker on it, whether they tried it, whether they liked it, whether they loved it. It was a pretty cool event that we did at the middle school today. So we're trying as many things as we can to increase our participation so that we continue along the road of staying above that. Facilities update at Eli, the gym floor looks amazing. If you get a chance to go to Eli and see the gym floor, it's amazing. I was in there today. The kids are loving it. The staff loves it. Everyone is commenting on it. And, the flooding was a disaster for us. It really shut things down. But the end result is almost like a blessing in a weird kind of way. But if you get a chance to go look at how they redid that, it's really incredible. I wrote to you about a heating and cooling issue here at the high school. We have a bunch of
Frequency drives.
that are malfunctioning, and we are going to have to replace them. It does have a pretty steep price tag. This is not something that you would go out to bid for or talk to outside vendors because it's specific to the company that provides it. I already talked to Jim. We've got the initial estimates. We're wondering if perhaps HES has vendors in their circuit that might be able to help us out a little bit with price, or if there's national pricing that we already work with. But we do know that we need to get this issue resolved. It has to do with the way the air flows certain parts of the building, where they're not getting either all of the air conditioning or all of it. Haven't flipped over yet, but we know that those will be addressed and taken care of. We've had a whole lot of talk about roofs, and as you saw, is we're doing more investigation in that. I do know that we can apply for some state funding, and that's a good thing. The downside of it is, regardless as to what the state funding is, we're still going to have millions of dollars of commitment to get the job done. They just only going to reimburse us at a certain. But the fact that we get that makes that conversation with the capital fund a little bit more palatable. So instead of asking them, $8 million, maybe we're only asking $4 million. Still a lot of millions, but when you're getting 50 or 60 cents on the dollar, it's much easier to work. With that, turn it over to you. I see the yellow pieces of stick on
I don't have a lot, I
Kelly's-
swear.
Kelly's pages,
Let me
so
put my
fire
glasses on
away.
so I can see your teeny tiny numbers.
I
I just
don't print these team numbers. That's the way it comes off the report.
just looking because I know you said we had some issues with repairs. So at Fisher, some of the emergency repairs that have been expended, was that part of the gym floor and like the insurance thing where you got a deductible? was like-
Not at Fisher, but because that's Eli where we.
Oh, okay, no,
So,
Eli.
no, if
Eli
you s-
has one too. At
Yeah, but
Fisher,
if-
the emergency repairs was,
And
did
if
I
you
miss that?
see things like that, as I put in the explanation, is those are items that we paid for because we have for the account, and now I'm working with HES to reimburse us back over with the credit.
Oh, okay, that's,
So
I wasn't sure what
In
that
many,
meant.
many cases where we've incurred some cost that's in our budget right now, we're gonna get that money back from HES, and I'll be able to journal entry over it and zero
Okay.
those out.
Right,
The
that
only
makes
place
sense.
the only place that may be happen is with true emergency repairs, which are not part of our agreement, or if it's a project that we've elected to take on that's also not regular maintenance. For example, the stairs, the exterior stairs, Plymouth Center School, talked about a safety issue. And as I wrote in the thing, Jim, Brian, and I have kind of come up with a solution that's it's temporary, but it's a long-term temporary, which is going to buy us some time to resolve safety issue. I think Brian has said doing there. That's not part of our maintenance contract. That's a part that we're separately. That's where we're going to see things that flow through here. But most of what you see running through here is things that I'll be getting credit back.
And I just had a question on, it's on pages 5 and page 7. So on page 7, it has a budgeted amount for purchase substitute, and that's in the school-wide section, if I'm understanding. But then there's also purchase substitute, page 5, with a budget amount with $0 spent. So I don't know if that was supposed to be moved to a different page because aren't all the substitutes in one category? They shouldn't be
so-
sorted out. Or is that because I noticed we have congratulations for all of the long-term subs for, but I didn't know if that was like to
No,
cover for
so
long-term
on
subs at
page
that
5,
school.
that's at the high school,
Mhm.
and that's actually where we have our security guard person.
Oh,
Okay, but
so if
the
we
account is labeled. It's an account I'm using, but it's labeled.
okay, that's why I was wondering why that was
And
there.
then the other one is in purchase substitutes is actually in the special education budget, and that's where we have temporary paraprofessionals or anybody who is filling an open position for us.
Okay.
Over the last couple of years, we've realized that we need to budget something in there because we don't fill all our positions and we have these expenses. That's fine. That's it.
Okay, got that. And then, for the long-term substitutes, and that was in your note, like I saw there's gonna be a need for quite a few of them, but then on the budget, it's like $0 are
Yes.
budgeted, so where are you gonna get that money from?
So we typically don't put anything under the long-term sub line simply because we
You don't know. Yeah.
This year it's off the rails.
Well, congratulations to all those
It is
people.
good.
though. Don't
And
say
it's
what to
exciting,
them.
right?
That's
And it's
great.
all for
Lots of
really
babies.
great reasons. So some of that money will come from open positions.
Okay,
Some of that money is gonna come from lines that we don't spend, and it'll run like that all the way until we get to May. And then that will tell me where I can start to move those dollars. But at this point, I don't have any concerns with the budget.
it's gonna be okay. That's it.
Easy.
Anyone else?
Yes. I was wondering, 2 meetings ago, I think Jerry, you and I were talking, we said these buildings belong to the town, correct? Now, I'm looking, like this $33,000. Is there a point where if it's too much money, we have to turn it to the town, or is that with that 50,000 in there? Because really, we don't know, the building is 33,000, it's not in our budget. Should the town take care of that, or we have to take care of it? And if it's their building,
But that was one of the questions that I put on the operations, like, or we have a clear understanding of what
Well-
is our budget responsible for versus what is the
I
town's
don't know.
budget
That's-
responsible.
that's what I was just wondering. I don't know if there's an MOU or what. I don't know what's going on with this. Even the generator, I'm gonna question that next, but
My understanding for the 5 years that I've been here is anything that has to do with the mechanicals and so forth, the building, we budget for that and we have to deal with those unless it's a catastrophic event. That's something that we now when we're talking about things like the physical envelope of the building with the roof needing to be replaced, that would be something that we would want to work out with because of the massive scale of
Yes.
that is. When we talked, you guys were talking about arguing back and forth, but in agreement about the parking lots. That would fall under a town property, but when you're talking about the lights or the heat systems, that kind of falls underneath. And you'll see, if you look at the capital, we talk about having replaced at Fisher, right? Been doing that since I got here.
I know.
We still don't replace them because it's a significant amount of money. So, depends on the project, but in this particular case, I believe that falls.
okay. All right. The other question I had, I just want to go back to the generator for a second. We never get a report from the town if they check the generators. Now, I'm gonna go back, when I was in the fire department, on a Monday night, we saw you down at, I'd be a headquarters. And we'd go in and fire the generator up, and we had a paper under there, and we'd check it off, Pat Ferragino, 7:15, we ran a generator 15 minutes and shut it off. We don't have anything.
So the generator kicks on automatically. And when it doesn't, Jim knows, he gets an alarm, and he's informed Public Works that this has been an issue. He informed them in writing. And Marty Sanchez also informed them in writing. So Public Works has known about this issue for as long as there's been an issue. And they also, because I saw it in writing as well, they discovered the contract at Public Works that they were responsible for. And they still did not repair the generator. I truly believe that the director of Public Works did not know and realize that the sprinkler system pumps, if there is a fire, and we have an electrical issue, obviously, with the fire where we wouldn't have power, that generator would kick on and those sprinklers would go on. And then once Mr. Orsini found that out, he informed myself and the mayor, it was resolved within 24 hours. But Mr. Mazon has been informing Carl Johnson throughout this process from the beginning that the generator's down, not kicking on, can't go on manually, and that it is the town's responsibility because we do not even have an account that addresses generator. Those are factual statements that I have in writing through emails that have gone back.
So I never see a report that, generators were inspected going, okay. I hear what you're saying. Yep. We'll go from there. Thank you. That's all I have, Matt. I'm gonna be easy on you. Numbers look good.
Today.
Today they look good. But,
Anything else?
I was just wondering,
Oh, I
it's
guess
just funny, I had a little time this weekend, I was just going through it. I was looking at the emergency repairs, and what we have left in there, all the schools is, $34,800. And I said, look out there, wow, holy mackerel. Plymouth Center's got 10,000, Harriet Fisher got 4,300, Eli Terry got 54, of course, the high school got 50,000. But I mean, what's left is there 34,800. Goes quick,
Does go quick.
goes quick.
I think fortunately over the last few years, we've done a lot of proactive things to avoid emergency situations. And we just need to stay on that.
Anything else for Matt?
All right, so with this generator, who's paying for the? Seems like it said she said.
The town is. The town is responsible, they're paying for repairs. So originally what happened was that I spoke to the mayor, and the mayor has to go to the town council to get approval to gather that money to pay for the repair. So we had an agreement where the school district would put the money out, have the repair done immediately, or the temporary repair done immediately, and the town council, in good faith, would reimburse the Board of Education because it is not in our budget, it's in their budget. So ultimately, the town is paying for it.
So is there a secondary generator on the premise?
Right now, there's a temporary generator it's the same thing they would bring into Eli Terry if there was an emergency situation, but we have that generator here that will kick on in case there is an emergency. Am I correct in saying that?
Normally, when a generator goes down, they usually bring in a secondary generator. So that, especially for the fire. So depending on the size of the building, also the size of the generator. So,
Really?
Well,
oh yes.
and just so you
Oh,
know,
yes.
where this all came up is Mr. Orsini was talking to Mr. Mazon about, we have emergency meetings all the time, and they were talking, and they said, well, our emergency shelter at Eli Terry is all set, right? And Jim Mazon had to say, no, because we don't have the gym floor. And then he says, well, okay, then we could just move over to the high school because we have the high school. And Jim then said, no, the generator's not working. And then that's where this all started. Is through that conversation with emergency management and ours.
Right, anything else for Matt? You're off the hook now. Mr. Falcone, the personnel report.
Just real quick, personnel, we have 7 people that will be on some sort of a child leave. Most of them are at Plymouth Center School. There are only, if you really look at it though, there are only 2 teacher positions. Everything else falls under Beth with regard to either mental health or speech and language. So Beth is working with outside agencies to try to get people to temporarily cover those positions. And we are fortunate that we do have a long-term sub and that these positions aren't going to be out at the same time. So we do have coverage with a certified teacher. So we are actually doing pretty well. Unfortunately, when we do go to outside agencies, they do cost us more than hiring a sub. So it's going to be quite expensive to cover these 7 blessings that we have. Also, I want to point out that we have 2 special education teacher openings still, and that we have paraprofessional positions still open. We're going to be posting something on Facebook. I'm working with them in technology and our HR department, which is myself and Emily Holtz, to post something on Facebook to let people know that we do have openings and what you need to do to qualify for those types of positions, because they all do not need a 4-year college degree for some of these positions. And so we want to inform people, and hopefully we can increase the pool of candidates.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Falcone? Dr. Purcell? Okay. Moving on to item 11, we are back to public comment, in-person public comment. Please join us at the podium. Seeing none. Any online this time?
We do.
Woo! All right.
So it's from Virginia Kane of 18 Adams Drive. While Mr. Falcone may not place much in surveys, it's important to the center's family and goals revolve around. Currently, that engagement stands at over 49 since that survey was conducted. Multiple parents, myself included, have brought this forward on several clear that this is an ongoing issue. My son is at preschool, and in just a month and a half, they've done more to foster development than the center has accomplished in my daughter's 3 years. Is possible. I also agree with Mrs. Pluff. We need to dig deep. Don't rely on the same group of seek out new voices and diverse perspectives.
Thank you to our online comment. Next item is item number 12, board liaison reports. Harry S. Fisher Elementary School. Who's taking that?
I have. Book fair is this month, the 14th through the 17th. There's a book fair. The PTA meeting is on the 21st of this month. That's all I have.
That's it. Excellent. From the center school, Mrs. Bushko?
October 14th is no school, it's Columbus Day.
Mm-hmm.
Their book fair at Plymouth Center is the 21st through the 25th. November 5th is Election Day, no school, important. 27th, 28th, 29th, Thanksgiving break.
Great. Good. Looking forward to all of them.
Every one of them.
A lot of breaks.
He reported the days off.
You be quiet over there, Mr. Perugino. Tell say that's a lot of breaks.
important.
You got every day off. All right. Eli Terry Junior Middle School.
Okay, so the In a Heartbeat program was yesterday. I got to attend. It was very well organized. I'm not sure if it was well attended different times, but they were very
70 students.
Nice.
Yeah, it looked like, I mean, we were in and out. They were really good with the kids and they feel comfortable. So it was a great opportunity. They said about 2-ish weeks to get your results out to you. So thanks for putting that on. When I was at the PTA meeting, we looked at the floor and it was close to being done. It just had it didn't have the black lines or anything. And then you sent the picture the next day. I was floored by how in less than 24 hours, how much work had been done. So it looked beautiful in there. So the 8th grade is going to visit Terryville High School October 9th, which is, wait, what's that? Tomorrow, sorry. October 5th, there is an info session regarding Lakeview, which is the former Wamogo and Woket Tech. There's a Nutmeg Spice fundraiser running October 22nd, November 7th. There will be blankets for sale at the conferences with the logo on them. There's dance coming up the 24th. And bingo was on Friday, so I didn't post a lot of info on that, but keep posted. There's a lot going on. You can always get involved in any way. It's always great to have people join us, and there's a lot of fun coming up for kids or families.
Excellent. Perryville High School, Mr. Foote.
The PTSA last meeting was, they welcomed their new members. There was a question on how long an officer could hold their position. And the rules at PTA, I guess, said you hold your position for 2 years unless or until somebody replaces you. So if somebody wants to take your job, you can stay longer, apparently. The Lime Orchard Pie Sale is ongoing right now until October 14th, and you'll be able to pick them up on the 10th of November. Designer Bag Bingo will be on November 8th at the Polish Pub in Bristol. Graduation signs will be out in April. We're going to have an IGA roundup in May. Flower sale, Mother's Day flower sale will be in May. And homecoming will be on November 7th. That's sponsored by the Leo Club and the junior class. Grad party, the after grad party is scheduled for June 11th. Of course, that is on snow day.
Okay, thank you very much. Eddie Vance?
Oh, I told my mom. I'll go tomorrow.
No,
I'll be late for the meeting though, because it starts at 4 and our buses. are
You don't have
so
to.
late.
You don't have to go.
you do not need to go to that. You do not need
I
to go.
didn't know if you had gone from,
No,
had anything to say. You don't have to feel bad about it. No worries.
I don't get out of early enough. So.
Okay. All right, item number 13, board comments. Start with you, Mr. Showers. What you got?
Lou, Cindy, and Joe, it's nice working with you for the last few years. Gonna be missed. Everybody else, good luck in the election.
Okay.
Except for you and I, we'll be stuck.
Yeah, we're stuck together. Yeah, another 2 years. Mr. Bourbonnier? Okay. Mr. Foot?
I'd just like to say, this board, I've been on many different ones in town. Been best that I've ever served on. We all seem to get along quite well together, and good luck to those who won't be here. Thank you all.
Mr. Zabushka?
I have to agree with Mr. Foot. This board gets along very well. It's funny leaving the board because this is, except for 3 years when I retired, okay, I've been in the school since 1954. You remember that year, right, Brian?
Yeah, it was a great one.
Yeah. I started subbing right after I got out of high school, my first year of college, because back then they'd take anybody as a sub. And my first class.
Still take anyone if you're interested.
my first class could have retired 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I figured been in long enough. It's time for me to
Sail on away.
say see you later. But it was great, all of it. Enjoyed all of it.
It's great having you.
Thanks.
Mr. Perugino?
Yes, I'd like to welcome Miss Kalo to our team. Let's, I got a handful down there, taking over, but I think she'll do a great job. I also like to thank the board members that aren't going to be here next week. And as Greg and I both know, it's very difficult to get people to volunteer. And we're very fortunate on this board to get people to volunteer, come in here for no pay, nothing else. Take a little abuse, but that's okay. We do it. But I just want to thank everybody for hanging in there and so on. The ones that are retiring, God bless you. Thank you.
The heart screening, I believe Nicole.
Nicole Corey, yep.
I told my kids they were gonna go like computer for a minute, so they were a little nervous. But it was great turnout. They were in and out in less than 5 minutes. So that was great. And then for the clubs, I remember I went to a meeting and Mayor Merchant was there, and he got very emotional and he asked all the kids that were there. He said, "Please, for your next meeting, go and find a student who you don't normally talk to, who wouldn't normally come to these clubs, whether it's the Leos or student council, and invite them, personally invite them, text them, like keep reminding them to come. and invite them, and he said that he felt if his, were you at that meeting? Was his,
Maybe.
or whoever it was, that like, no, he wished that somebody had introduced the clubs and stuff like that, so, I love that you guys have the introduction of the clubs, and then maybe if every member of that club invites somebody who wouldn't normally go to the club, or who doesn't come to school, they don't know somebody, that's like a great way to get more involvement and like that. And then if kids that are coming from the middle school, I don't know if they'll be able to see whatever they did today. That. And then when Nico goes to the other school, the board, it's signed the board chair. I don't know who really writes it. Writes it very after each board meeting, and it goes out to the whole community, like O'Brien out his. So maybe if you write very brief, not long, it's just a very quick summary of what the meetings were, and then at the end of it, it invites them, say, please come to the meeting, please come to critique it, like it's just an open invite with the invite.
Sounds like a great job for the communications
Yes.
subcommittee.
Or even the next secretary that gets voted on.
That as well, yes.
And then, for the PTA, whenever we would hand the books over to somebody else, we had a binder that we would give them. So maybe communications can build a binder on, how to run the meetings, because some of the people that are coming on might not know how to run the finance meeting, what should we have the finance meeting. So maybe just a simple binder for each committee person that just goes to, gets handed down each. Those are my notes from here. And I'm glad that I was able to spend the past 7 years on the board. I learned a lot. It's great. I love the contract negotiation. I love being, hearing the numbers, seeing the numbers. I'm a numbers person. Like, you're a brick and mortar. I'm a numbers. You're a teacher. I don't want that side. So it's really cool how everyone has their like little specialties. So next board members that come on, figure out what your little specialty is and just dig into that part of it. Have fun. You'll learn a lot.
Thank you. Okay.
But yes, welcome to our new. Ending barrage that you best of luck to all of you. I know you guys definitely put in. Looking for it.
Yes, same. I will miss those of you who will not be with us anymore, and welcome you back to be part of our audience anytime. Maybe you can even get up and do some public comment for us so that we can hear from someone else. But we appreciate your work.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to having new members come aboard. All right, item number 14, next board meeting. The next regular meeting of the Plymouth Board of Education is on Wednesday, November 12th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the cafeteria at Terryville High School. Item 15, executive session, an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding for sick time. I'd like to entertain a motion to enter into executive session at 8:45 p.m., inviting Mr. Falcone, Superintendent, and Mr. Tenza, Business Manager, regarding the following: Memorandum of Understanding regarding sick time for all union employees. Now I need the motion. Mr. Showers. Mr. Foot, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, we are in executive.
Good?
All right. I'd like to entertain a motion to resume regular session at 8:59 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Showers, Mr. Foot, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. I would like to entertain a motion to authorize the superintendent to enter into an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, regarding sick time for all union employees.
So moved.
Mr. Showers?
Second.
Mr. Perugino, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item 18, adjournment. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:59 PM. Mr. Perugino, second. Mr. Showers, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, everyone. The rest of your evening.